Hey everyone, welcome to the Veloce Race Review. I'm Aaron McNanny.
And I'm Pat Brown. Today we're going to be going over the Nittany Lion Cross that was down in Truxlertown quite a bit.
It was about a month
ago.
and a half ago.
Yeah.
Great race, slightly rainy and wet on this day particularly. There were two races this weekend, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. This is Sunday, and essentially what they do is they run the course backwards the next day. So you're running the same course, and obviously that adds an interesting race dynamic because, as you can tell, the course is rather worn in, and we're coming up to this section of some pretty deep mud. The day beforehand we went on that left-hand side, and it was a really good line. Come to find out, it's that right side today that you really want to be running.
So it seems like, just as with any other race, sometimes the course will change as you're riding it, and that can be like the same situation when it comes to riding the same course but on a different day. So it'll ride different. You'll find the best lines
Absolutely
are not going to be the lines that you were using the day before.
So you notice the guy in front of me, he rides for Jalapeno Cycling. Really strong team, honestly, out in, I believe they're based in Hoboken, New Jersey, but really strong team. I think they have a women pro or something like that. I forget what her name is. But this guy, he's an ex-triathlete, and he's just ripping it up on the course today. He ended up getting first place the day beforehand, and he got first place today by, 2 minutes.
Wow, that's excellent.
So this section right here is, you notice there's not a lot of obstacles or course features in this section. This is still sort of, I don't want to call it the pre-log, but you can tell there's not a lot of separation between many of the riders. We're all relatively packed in together still. Which is kind of nice because it allows for this long, maybe we're 2 minutes into the race, so it allows for a nice 2-minute run up where if you start further back in the course than you wanted to, you have that time frame to catch up. And by the way, I should note there were about 130 starters in this race.
Wow. Yeah, I was not at this race in person, but watching the film, it seems like it's very power-driven course. So if you can put down a lot of power and maybe you're not as sharp on the technical skills, then this is definitely a course that'll work well for you.
So here's David Thompson in front of us here, rides for CS Velo. Really strong Cat 4 racer in both road and cyclocross. I believe I may end up passing him here in a second, but he ended up pulling off a nice result as well. So he's out there a lot racing. Coming up here, looks like, we're headed into a uphill section of some obstacles. Nice little kicker coming up.
And it was a little rooty there.
It was actually last year. That's right where my rear wheel fell off.
Oh,
terrible.
yeah.
I actually ran up that section last year. My rear wheel fell off. Really frustrating.
Yeah, so I'd say this is the more technical part of the course, but it's I'd say it's more run-of-the-mill when it comes to what you think of for a cyclocross course.
Yep, UCI race right here, so very standard. That staircase I just ran up, honestly, it really sucked because it's not one of like those tight staircases. I think like the sections were like 2.5 feet apart, so you really had to like lunge after.
Yeah, you have to have long legs for that one. This was a really cool section. I enjoyed coming from riding mountain bike a little bit. I really enjoyed watching this section. Just because it was in the woods. I don't really think there was that much room for passing, but it seemed like it had nice flowy corners, and I think that part would be my favorite part of the course.
Not a lot of opportunities to pass people, but definitely a lot of opportunities to lose spaces. You know, like if you aren't very confident taking those muddy corners at high speeds, you can easily lose a couple of seconds there. So a couple of barriers here coming into a downhill with an off-camber turn to the right. Again, it was a little bit slick today, so this made riding a little bit more technical. This was one of my first days riding on tubulars. Fantastic upgrade. So have a buddy letting me borrow a pair of Boyd tubulars right now with Challenge, I forget what they're called, Baby Lemus tires. Super awesome. I mean, the amount of traction that I got on a course like this where it's wet, it's slippery, there's a lot of like fast corners, just fantastic.
So you can see, referring back to what we were mentioning earlier, Aaron took the right lane over that muddy section, and he gained up a ton of space on this guy here, which he'll actually, I believe, you pass.
Yeah, very strong rider here. His name's Clay Jones, I think is his last name. I would say his proficiency is in, here I go down. His proficiency is in more of like the technical cornering skills. So I was able to overcome him on the flat sections with power, but I just could not keep up with his bike handling skills. Right there you see I passed him, and it was funny. He was actually kind of smack talking me around that corner, and I got in my head and went down. So, but it was, he and I were neck and neck for a large portion of the race. We are a little bit separated from the group right now. He's in second, I'm in third. First place is way off the front. I'm still trailing him right now. There's a couple of riders that are coming up from our rear, so we're trying to keep the pressure on. And as we come into this relatively technical section, I'm basically trying to keep up with his quick bike handling skills.
Yeah. And one question I have for you, so you come into the stair section, you're trying to run up them as hard as you can, but it seems like this is a little bit off camber.
Totally.
And it's also a little bit uphill. Would it be maybe more efficient to run that until you make that corner? I know there is a little bit of distance there.
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. I think most people were mounting relatively early there, and then they were using that momentum from their mount to carry them up that little off camber bit. I didn't think it was too bad. I think, boy, that section right there, I was just watching it. That got me every time. So you could tell the ground is pretty ruddy right now, and it was actually about halfway through the race it started kind of drizzling a little bit more, so made it really difficult. Really fast section through the mud here.
So you'll see, I believe you take the right lane again, which is again faster, and I believe you stay with this guy basically the whole race or so, right?
I think so, and I've been trying to pass him any chance I got, and here I go, I pass him again, and I try to keep my momentum up this weird off camber turn to the right here, and I think this time I'm able to stay off to the front for a little bit. I realize now that I can't get in my head, I have to focus. A lot of times in these cyclocross races, by the end of the race, you're getting super worn out, you're super tired and in your head, and many of the mistakes you start making are just careless. Like, you're not paying attention, you're thinking about like, oh, can I hold on to third place? Can I hold on to second place? I'm in second place right here, and down I go. So I am being trailed by like 2 or 3 guys, and I can't get it. Throw my glasses off to the side. I can't get clipped in. I'm just like, no. Sucks. So here I am, now I'm in 4th place, and it's just terrible because my heart rate, where's my heart? 182 beats per minute, and I'm super redlined. I just had to do everything I could to keep my heart rate down.
I mean, in this late in the race, you're going to be tired. So little things like that where you're going into an off-camber section or a more technical section, sometimes it might be worth, especially if you're ahead of guys, it might be worth taking it easy and making sure that you make the corner clean rather than trying to go all out and then he goes down.
So I lapped him, and I kind of felt bad about that because several meters back I made sure to tell him like, hey, rider passing you, or
yeah, but that stuff happens. If you do hear someone say, rider passing, just make sure you get off so they can have a clear run at it. This is no, this isn't the same corner, but a lot of off-camber corners like that, and in the wet.
And you could tell it's getting rainy, it's getting wet, it's getting a little bit rough here.
Yeah, so this should be coming into the finish here pretty soon.
Yeah, this is the back section of the course, so we're about to go through that muddy, wooded section, and now we're out of that muddy, wooded section, coming along to the final stretch. There's really just a couple more really tight turns, and then we hit this really fast downhill, and it's kind of like a sprint to the finish. I've sort of got 4th in the books here. At this point, I look to my right, and I can see coming down that path is the guy that's in 5th place, and I'm like, okay, I'm in a good position, and I'm just gonna kind of roll into the finish. So, I mean, it was a great race. I had a good time. And walked away with, I think, some merch or something like that. Really good for confidence as well. As you can see, great course. They put on a good race down there in Trexlertown.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching. This has been the Veloce race review for the Nittany Lion Cross 2017 day number 2. Cat 4-5 race. Fantastic race. And we'll see you next time.